Processor. Asus Tinkerboard comes with Rockchip RK3288 1.8 GHz quad-core ARM Cortex A17 32-bit, whereas in Raspberry Pi 4 has Broadcom BCM 2711 quad-core Cortex A72 ARM version 8 64-bit SoC at 1.5 GHz. Benchmark score. As per the Geekbench, Asus Tinkerboard has the benchmark score of 3935, whereas Raspberry Pi 4 has 2092. RAM. Asus Tinkerboard has 2 GB of RAM, whereas Raspberry Pi has different version available with 1 GB, 2 GB or 4 GB LPDDR4 3200 SDRAM. GPU. The Tinkerboard has Mali T764 at 600 MHz, whereas Raspberry Pi 4 has Broadcom Video Core 6 at 500 MHz. Display. Asus Tinkerboard has HDMI with H.264 and H.265 4K decode capability, whereas Raspberry Pi 4 comes with 2 micro HDMI ports supporting 4K at 60 Hz display via HDMI 2.0 MIPI DSi DisplayPort. Storage. In Asus, you have to use micro SD card for the storage, whereas in Raspberry Pi 4 you have a micro SD card along with USB boot mode. Ports. Asus Tinkerboard comes with 4 USB 2.0, 40-pin GPIO, 1 HDMI port, 1 camera serial interface, 1 display serial interface, 3.5 mm audio jack, whereas in Raspberry Pi 4 you have 2 USB 3.0, 2 USB 2.0, 40-pin GPIO, 2 HDMI, 2-lane MIPI camera serial interface, 2-lane MIPI display serial interface and 3.5 mm audio video jack. LAN. Both the devices have Gigabit Ethernet LAN port. Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Asus Tinkerboard has Wi-Fi 802.11 BGN with swappable antenna, Bluetooth 4.0 with enhanced data rate, whereas in Raspberry Pi 4 we have Wi-Fi 802.11 BGN at 2.4 to 5 GHz and Bluetooth 5.0. Audio. Asus has the audio of 192K 24-bit, whereas Raspberry Pi 4 has 16-bit. SDIO. The Asus Tinkerboard has 3.0 secure digital input-output, whereas the Raspberry Pi 4 has 2.0 secure digital input-output. Power supply. Both the devices can be powered with micro USB 5V 2 amps. Board dimensions. Asus Tinkerboard has a dimension of 3.37 inch into 2.215 inches, whereas Raspberry Pi 4 has 3.37 inches into 2.21 inches. Supported OS. Asus Tinkerboard supports Linux-based Debian or Kodi operating system, whereas Raspberry Pi supports Linux-based Debian. Price. The Asus Tinkerboard comes with a price of $70, whereas Raspberry Pi 4 comes with a price of $45 to $65 depending on the size of the RAM.